with Sensoneo. Very, yeah, looking forward to telling you more about it.
In a second. So,
yeah.
Thomas, can you go ahead, please?
Hi guys, thank you very much for the opportunity and for having me. I'm a sales manager responsible besides other markets, even for the Icelandic market, or used to be, but we managed to do some good things with Rafn and the Lysir company in Iceland. We've been working with Everynet for a long time now. I think it's since our beginning. So it's like since 2017, we've known each other for quite a long time now. And I can't wait to tell you more about Sensoneo and looking forward to this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. So I think we can start. It's already 3 minutes past 5, if not 4. So I'm already in a hurry. I will hand it over to Antonio to introduce Everynet very quickly. So there you go, Tony.
Yeah, I already presented myself, so thank you very much for the next slide. Yeah, again, thank you very much, Elise, again, and thank you for attendees to listen to the webinar today. I think it's going to be a webinar a little bit different than the normal Smart City webinar that we may have listened before. Why? Simply because we are talking about a country, I think a wonderful country, Iceland, that is really, let's say, a country with a lot of contrast. Is Iceland, Rafn is telling us every week, is this country full of fantastic landscapes, the land of ice and fire. So you think about, there are almost 30 volcanoes that are active today. And there is one that just erupted before this webinar, just to let us give an additional use case and present one additional use case. Rafn, right? You will discuss afterwards in detail. There are even more than 260 glaciers in Iceland. So, and these glaciers are covering almost 10–11% of the country for the whole year. So ice and fire. So it's fantastic contrast. Where of course, you also have days in full darkness during the winter and days in full daylight during the summer. So for sure in Iceland, we will encounter the problem that we may face in several other cities, smart cities in the world, but let's say with some additional use cases that are very typical and particular for this country. Maybe a couple of words about Everynet. Yeah, thank you. Everynet has been founded in 2015, so we are quite a young company, 6 years of life. That quarter is in the Netherlands. Probably today is one of the, I would say, largest IoT neutral host provider of LoRa connectivity in the world. We are present in 3 different continents. You can see the countries there. We have almost 10 national deployment already deployed or in a deployment state. We partner up with large and strong local and global companies, tower companies, MNOs, MSPs that are capable to deploy a LoRaWAN coverage throughout the whole nation. So I'm sure that Rafn will also tell us a little bit more about the plan for Iceland in the next couple of years. What we do, we roll out, operate and manage IoT infrastructure and to give the best IoT experience to our clients. One of the key pillars for us is partnership, because we cannot do these things alone, of course. So we have a list of ecosystem partners. So Thomas and Sensoneo, as I said before, is one of the top company in our ecosystem catalog, because we can focus and do what we are best at. So we can provide connectivity, carrier grade, fully maintained throughout our network operations center based here in Milan. But without our partners, we cannot roll out the full IoT stack. And of course, our key focus and key area is on the network availability. So that's almost everything from my side. I want to hand over to you, Elisa, to present our next.
Yes. So thank you very much, Antonio, for introducing very quickly Everynet as a network provider for LoRaWAN. I will hand it over to Rafen, who will give you an overview of what we did as Everynet for the Icelandic market together with Rafen and Lysir, and what are the main use cases that are being implemented at the moment or will be implemented in the future for smart cities in such a particular environment, harsh and I would say almost at the limit of life in a certain sense. So Rafen?
Yes.
I'll just stop sharing on my side, okay?
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Okay. Can see my screen?
Yes, we can see your
You see
screen.
the screen? All right.
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, I want to thank you all for coming, and big thanks to Everynet and Sensoneo for bringing me the opportunity to introduce Lysir and what we are up to here in the north. Lysir was established in 2017, and ever since the company foundation, the policy has been set for the solution of the future. So with our partners, we are constantly developing new ways to save time, energy, and resources in technological world. So our policy is quite clear: finding the solution of the future to the challenges of today. So Iceland, of course, our main market is Iceland, and for some, it's sometimes difficult to find Iceland on a map. So yeah, here it is. You might notice these lines that in the seabed around the country. This is the Atlantic Ridge, and is constantly moving the North America plate and the Eurasia plate apart. And this is half the reason why Iceland is sometimes referred as, like Antonio did, the land of fire and ice. But yeah, let's pause the geology for a moment and move back to Lysir. Lysir joined the LoRa Alliance in 2019 and soon after made partnership with Everynet in building a nationwide LoRaWAN network. We have now a coverage of largely the southwestern part of Iceland. Without Everynet, it would have been possible to build up a good network coverage in this short period of time in this area, especially during COVID, which was, had its enough effect. But we plan to have every populated area connected in Iceland by the end of 2022. So yeah. Lysir is a very partner-oriented company. Our partners are very valuable to us to build smarter solutions to our customers. Here's a few of our partners within the LoRaWAN vertical. We have, of course, Everynet for the network, and Sensoneo for waste management, and Gico for air quality. We use Saninuts for healthcare, and IoT Factory is a partner in software development. This is our headquarters. Here we try out everything that we can get our hands on in smart solution, and frequently use ourselves as guinea pigs and our families. Whether it's smart street lighting, parking sensors, sanitation, monitoring, air quality tracking, you name it, we try it all. Our key customers in smart city innovation is the city of Reykjavik, the municipality of Hafnarfjörður, and the waste management company Terra. With the city of Reykjavik, we have been using, they have been using from us air quality monitoring for their facility, weather stations, and waste monitoring. The municipality Hafnarfjörður have been also using air quality monitoring, weather station, and waste monitoring, and Terra have been using the waste monitoring solution. The indoor air quality meters that we are offering to our customers is from the company Engico. They measure temperature, humidity, CO2, volatile organic compound. We also provide weather station from Engico that measure temperature, humidity, wind direction and speed, rainfall, particulate matter. We provide our customers dashboards with real-time and historical data with our solution. This is one example of a dashboard for Reykjavik City. So over here you can see live data from temperature, humidity, air quality, air pressure, illumination, historical data for air quality, temperature, humidity, illumination, and air pressure. The location of the sensor and what type of sensor we are using. Another example of use is from the municipality Hafnarfjörður. On the front page of Hafnarfjörður website is displayed the temperature and wind speed from Engico weather station in the town center. And if you click on the weather information, you can see more detailed information from the weather station. You can see, of course, temperature, wind speed, average wind speed, the rainfall, humidity, sun radiation, air pressure, and air quality, PM 2.5 and PM 10. And if the value is good, mjög góð means very good. For smart waste, we are offering our customers the solutions from Sensoneo. Reykjavik City and Hafnarfjörður are monitoring street waste bins in their city centers, both to maximize the efficiency for pickup and eliminating the overflow of bins. In cooperation with Terra, we are monitoring local drop-off centers using the Sensoneo waste sensors, of course, for maximizing efficiency and eliminate the overfill. Using the Sensoneo software, our customer can monitor the real-time status of each bin and see historical data, making it possible to take data-driven decision on waste management, which is very valuable. Lysir has been working on a proof of concept project using LoRaWAN Saga plugs for smart street lighting. This opens a lot of opportunities for optimizing lighting in regards of cost saving and better control. Well, a little bit back to geology. In the beginning of March, the ground started really to shake here in the southwestern part of Iceland. And during a 3-week period, we had over 50,000 earthquakes. This map that you can see over here indicates every earthquake during that period, and each star represents an earthquake that is over 3 in magnitude. We felt this quite a lot here at Lysir, since our location of our office is over here. All signs pointed out that we would soon see a volcanic eruption on this area pretty soon. And on the March 19th, it became a reality. So fortunately, this was a great location for an eruption. We call this like a tourist eruption, but there's no tourist, unfortunately. But the location was great. No people, no infrastructure was in danger. This was the first eruption of this area in 781 years. And scientists believe this is the start of a few decade period with a frequent eruption in this area. So yeah, that's going to be fun. But you perhaps remember the eruptions in 2010 with the eruption of Eyjafjallajökull. With a lot of ash, these type of eruption, they don't spew, well, minimal ash, so that's not the issue. The major concern for this type of eruption are gases. And the gas types that people are worried about is the sulfur dioxide, SO2, and hydrogen sulfide, H2S. These gases are quite dangerous in high level, but they are quite well known here in Iceland since they are quite common around the geothermal plants. You can see our location again here. When the first speculation of eruption were formed, we immediately acquired H2S and SO2 sensors to start monitoring from our headquarters. But fortunately, the gas level had been minimal around the populated area, but the situation has to be monitored. And if this is a start of a long period of eruption, then it's going to be very important to get ready for the next eruption and monitor the gas level in every single populated area. And that's one of the beauty with LoRaWAN. We can adapt quite quickly to different circumstances. But of course, this is just the tip of the iceberg, what we are doing. It's impossible to mention all the endless integrations and solutions that we have available here at Lysir in a short webinar. And that's one of the beauty of LoRaWAN, how the possibilities are almost endless. So I thank you all for listening, and I will give it back to you, Elisa.
Thank you very much, Rafen, for your presentation today. And we should thank also the volcano because it erupted just in time for the webinar in order for us to see the differences between before and after. So
I made it
happen.
You.
Thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you, Rafen, for making this happening. I think I will hand it over to Thomas, who at this point will need to explain to us how Sensoneo devices can be volcano-proof and earthquake-proof.
That's a very good one. I shared my screen. Please let me know if you can see it, but it should be visible now.
Yes, it is.
All right, perfect. So thanks a lot, Elisa, and thanks a lot, Rafen, who already mentioned and for already mentioning a couple of things about Sensoneo. I'm not sure if we are volcano-proof, but we are definitely waste-proof and water-proof and dust-proof. That's something I can tell you. Volcanoes are a little too extreme. There's no IP protection for that yet, I think. But first of all, let me just tell you a couple of things about what we do in Sensoneo. Basically, why we started is we try to bring as much efficiency to the waste collection as possible. As you can imagine, and all of you can imagine, and this is a global issue where the waste collection industry and the waste management industry hasn't changed too much when it comes to the way it works, and when it comes to the way it works with the data and how they gather the data and how the waste is actually collected. You all know that there are fixed cycles when the trash is taken and collected, and it's either once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, 3 times a day, you name it. But it's been like that for the past many years, even decades. So we try to bring a smarter approach to this environment and in the waste management, and we try to bring efficiency and optimize the way the waste is collected. We as Sensoneo, and even thanks to LoRaWAN, because we started with Sensoneo as a solution back in 2014, and there was no IoT network since we are based in Slovakia, but even in Europe and globally, it wasn't a big there was maybe some talks about it, but it wasn't a huge work with the IoT networks, and it wasn't just wasn't there. So we actually needed to start with the basic GSM with our sensors and with our solutions. And thanks to even LoRaWAN and EveryNet, we are able to make so much work done, and it has helped us a lot just to bring the solution where it is today. And I'm going to be talking about that a little more in the meantime. Since 2014, when we actually started, when the Sensoneo started as a solution, we managed to thankfully scale up, and we are now present globally in 60 plus countries, and we are very partner oriented as well, because we are based in Slovakia, as mentioned. So the HQ is in Slovakia, and we have a lot of partners, and there's so many partners now, over 40 partners across the globe. So even if you are thinking about any kind of smart waste project in the anywhere you can think of. We I'm almost certain that we do have some kind of partnership even in the country that you would be looking for. Our solutions are, I mentioned, and even Hrafn already mentioned sensors. It's not about sensors only now. We could split our solution into different segments within the waste industry, and we could split them into asset management solutions, then waste monitoring solutions, then the route planning and optimization solutions, and even some specific solutions for specific industries. And I will be speaking about that a little later in a more detail, just to give you an overview how what is the stuff that we can actually take care of. And it's not only about putting sensors inside the waste bin. In the end, and the baseline for us is bringing the data to the waste managers, to the city halls, and to anybody who has to work with the data, because we truly believe that the good decisions have to be made on data, not on the feeling and on just your experience, which is very important, but it's not the only thing that the decisions should be made of. We gather the data through different sources. One was already mentioned, it's the sensors. We also have other products, such as something we call Watchdog, and it's an RFID reader and a GNSS tracker for vehicles. So it's like a very professional monitoring tool for vehicles, so not for the bins themselves. Or it could be RFID tags, smart buttons that can give you notifications of anything, of the bin fullness, that can all run on IoT networks and on LoRaWAN. And we bring this data from the source to our software, which enables people to work with this kind of software. And the waste managers, if it's in the city or if it's in the waste collection company, actually they can work with this kind of data through our platform with multiple modules that work for different people and different kinds of solutions, like already mentioned. And it all comes down to creating some sort of analysis, something we call the collection efficiency analysis, where we gather all the data once every quarter or once every 6 months. And we take a like high-level look on the data and on the efficiency and the outcomes, and then back we can give you what the improvement should be. So this is how the solution is implemented within a specific project, within a specific city or a specific client. So it goes from the data gathering to the management of the waste itself through our platform, and then to some consultancy services, and giving some recommendations back to the system. Now, one of the solutions, is the first one and the oldest one, and that's why the Sensoneo was even brought up, is the sensors already mentioned. It's pretty simple. The idea behind that is pretty simple. Actually the sensor is quite complicated to manage and to understand, but it's an ultrasonic sensor which measures the level of the waste inside any type of bin that you can imagine, and it gives you live information. It can give you information 24 times a day, because it can do as many measurements as you want within the different time frames of the day, and it can tell you how full the bin is, so you can then plan the collection schedules, or you can see if the bin is overflowing, and you should not, even as a citizen, go there and try to empty your home bins because those bins are full. And it basically gives the information to the waste managers to know when to collect the bins within the precise moment and the precise period. Now, this is pretty much why we do it, or it's one of the reasons why we do it, because I'm not sure if in Iceland, because it's such a developed country and it's such an awesome country compared to be honest, compared to Slovakia or compared to the eastern part of Europe, I would say. But this is a very unfortunately regular picture within Slovakia and our world that we live in, and we are surrounded with the overflowing bins and so much waste everywhere where you can look. I'm not saying Slovakia is dirty, but this is too often that I get to see this kind of stuff, which is really easily solved, or could be easily solved, with having the sensors inside, knowing when the bin is full and taking it out and collecting it when it needs to be collected as well. It's one part of the problem, because the other one, and it's the picture right here, that tells you that these containers could be empty, but if the waste collector has the schedule and it's scheduled on Tuesday, he will empty them regardless of if they are full and if they are not, which brings a lot of inefficiency, because you are actually collecting a lot of air, because we don't know, nobody looks inside the bin and then calls and says that, hey guys, come and pick it up because now it's full, because these kind of bins, street bins, are just there on the street and nobody actually knows, unless it's full, nobody knows how full it is, and especially not the waste collector. So they collect a lot of times a lot of air, which is quite inefficient. We can honestly not even can, but we actually do monitor all types of bins that you could think of, and I would never think that there's so many bin types, but there actually is. Every city has different bin types, from like, this is pretty basic here in Central Europe, but to this very nice looking semi-underground bins, to street city bins, to bins within indoor bins and designer bins within a mall, or anything that you can think of. Even the bins that Hrafn already showed, which are like above ground compacting units, quite large bins. So we can monitor anything that you could think of. Just couple of examples right here, even to the smallest bin types that you could think of, very nice looking and thin ones within. And this is inside a new office building, which is this is looking very good. And we did this with our partner in the HDM in Italy. And we are able to even adapt our sensors to so they are actually this small, the resonators, and we can actually measure even this very small bin types. But you can imagine you can measure anything you want. This is a couple of pictures from Malaysia, and this nice looking guy, our partner in Malaysia, which we are very thankful for. And what I want to show you also is that if you think about it, basically it's the sensor that measures the level of something using ultrasound. Now, obviously, we are focusing on the municipal waste or the waste itself, but we have many cases and demands from different use cases, or from different clients, that maybe they don't consider they not necessarily have to create waste, but they want to measure something within some kind of container. And it can go from the book return boxes to oil gathering containers, to even manholes such as this, or mailboxes, and my personal favorite, which is the portable toilet. I'm not sure that if you can imagine, we actually measured the stuff inside. That I don't want to just don't want to say the word because it's not appropriate, I guess. And we can also measure silos, sand silos, or salt silos, like we do here for one of our partner here in Czechoslovakia, for where they actually operate the highways and need to have these big silos for salt. When in the winter you need to put salt on the not the street but the road, in order to avoid ice. And we can monitor all of those, even shredding boxes, which is a very which are very sensible documents, and they actually want to be effective and be precise, where anything that you could think of, manholes and canalizations, is actually monitorable with the ultrasonic sensors, and we actually use it for these purposes. Although, even with that being said, our main focus is on the waste and on the municipal waste, but we do this a lot, I would say. One last measuring technology is this is not an ultrasound, but this is something that we call the octopus sensor. Just for you to see, it's a very slightly changed unit with these kind of like tentacles. That's why we call it octopus, that measure the water level within this kind of manhole or shaft, which is very deep and very narrow, and the ultrasound is just not the right technology, and it's underground, like deep. So we do it in a different way for again, for the highway operator. like mentioned, these data, then we gather it, and we have different modules within our platform for different use cases and for different users of the system, that where we visualize the data about the bins, about the fullness of the bins, about the sensors, about the vehicles, and even data from the route planning, where we what we are able to do is we plan the routes based on the data from the sensors, or even just based on the data of the schedules, where we are able to automate the collection or the planning of the collection schedules, which makes it a lot easier and a lot faster. Just to give you one example, if you imagine a city like Prague in Czech Republic, which is the capital of Czech Republic, and they have I think it's 1.5 million people living in there, lots and lots of bins. There's about like 150,000 bins in the city for waste. They do this kind of collection scheduling, where they actually plan the routes on which they should collect the bin. They only do it once every 5 years, or even once every 7 years, because it's such a complex and it's such complicated planning for them, and we are able to do this, just so you have the idea, we are able to do this within a few hours or even within a few minutes, because the system does it automatically. I mentioned Prague already, and we love them in Prague. We monitor about 700 bins, from underground bins to even bins for glass and above ground bins, as they call them in the waste industry. And what this brings to them is first of all, it's the information about the fullness of the bins, which enables them to give this kind of information to their citizens, so they see how much waste actually they create within different city parts. Second of all, they are able to control, and the city hall is able to control their waste contractor and the waste collector, if they're actually doing the job as they are supposed to do it, and what the job that they are paid for. So if they actually collect the bins on the given schedules, and if they are being effective, because they can tell from the data from the sensors. And it also works for the waste collector itself, because they are able to optimize and automate the waste collection scheduling and even navigating of the drivers, and it brings a lot of efficiency. Honestly, within Prague, it could lead to 46% of the cost saving if they had sensors in the whole city, and if they were using the solution to the maximum level, which is not there yet, to be honest. It's we're not there yet, but we're trying to get closer. Few examples, other examples from the real life is this collection. They're not even a collection company, but they're something that's called the take-back operator of the electro waste within the Czech Republic, where we not only monitor all of their bins within the Czech Republic. These are their bins where actually me as a citizen, if I have a small electro, something like a phone, or it used to be Walkman or Discman, and if I have nothing to do with it now, I can put it in this type of container, and it just gets taken away. And they have these bins. They have like 4,000 of these kind of bins, but other than that, they have over 25,000 collection spots where they actually need to collect the trash from. It's all managed within our software, within our logistics software, and even from the gathering of the order to collection, to collecting, to navigating the drivers. And we do this whole big logistics operation, and really the whole logistics system for this take-back operator. We also have solutions for, I talked a lot about the municipalities and the city and their waste, but we have solutions even for industries and commercial clients. One of our favorite is for this one automotive industry, an automotive company that actually makes cars, even with HQ in USA, but they make cars in Germany and in other countries as well. They also have a lot of waste collection spots even within their factory. So it's not only applicable to the city level, but even within and inside the factory, they have a lot of collection spots where they collect the waste. And it's really for them, it's really important not to have anyone else besides the guys that actually make the cars to be in the plant and to just wander around. And it's you know how it is in automotive industry, where everything's automated, everything has its place, and everything is timed. And we provide this just in time waste collection for them, where we know when the bin is full, and we plan even the waste collection for the driver that drives within inside the factory, and he knows precisely where he needs to be there, and he is there. And this allows them not only to bring it doesn't necessarily have to be about the money, but it brings them the preciseness of the time spent inside the factory, and the preciseness of collecting the bins. And honestly, it brought them 50% decrease in FTE. So they had some amount of guys that actually needed to do this before they were able to cut them in half. And I'm sorry for that, guys who collected the waste, but hopefully you found a different spot within the company. And the last one I already mentioned, it's about creating the waste collection routes. It's specifically for one client in Czech Republic, for one municipality in Czech Republic that installed the semi-underground bins instead of regular bins. So the semi-underground bins are high capacity, which they were not able to know at all how full they are and how often they should collect it. We found that they were really inefficient, and using our sensor and with creating the routes, optimum routes for them based on the data. So we told them you need to go there only when it's like 80% and above. This leads to a huge cost saving in average for them. It was actually 63% cost saving if they did this based on the data. That's how huge it can be. This is us. This is Sensoneo. Even though it's an old picture, there's a lot more of us now. But still, that's it from my side. And thanks a lot for guys for joining and for the opportunity to speak here.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Thank you very much for your presentation. And now, so let's open up this open discussion that I was mentioning at the beginning regarding LoRaWAN and Sensoneo, and how they complement, and why to choose Evernet or why to choose Sensoneo as a device provider. I would just like to remind everyone that if you have any questions, just please fill in the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. I already have a couple of questions, but many more are welcome. And those we cannot answer now, they will be answered privately. So feel free to ask. And so, Rafen, I'll go back to you. And I would like to start this discussion around why you should choose, or not why you should choose, but why you as an Evernet partner decided to choose LoRaWAN and Evernet for your smart city deployment. What was the rationale behind it? And why you then decided to go for Sensoneo in terms of waste management use cases and sensors, etc.
Yes, of course. It's quite simple, really. We saw early on that one of the key factors in smart city innovation will be in LP1 system. LoRaWAN was a logical choice for us with all the benefits that it has with long range, the battery life, and the flexibility, and of course all the range of sensors and products that you can choose from. It's incredible. We heard early on that Evernet was the best, so we tried to check out if that was correct, and yeah, that was the case. And it has really lifted us up in deploying the network over here in Iceland. And like I said in the presentation, I can't imagine have done this without Evernet. It would have been impossible.
Rafen, what was the rationale also behind choosing to go with a national network rather than building a private one?
Yeah, because there is no national network in Iceland. Before we started, LoRaWAN had been deployed only in minor projects, minor areas. We thought there really was a need for a large scale national network to get all the verticals possible for the industry, for the smart city industry over here.
Yeah, I remember that, Tony, if you want to also spend a couple of words, sorry, I'm looking this way because Tony is in the meeting room.
yeah.
If you want to spend a couple of words also on the time to market, because that was interesting on our side.
It's just an anecdote. So I met Rafen in one of the different LoRa Alliance member meetings. It was in Amsterdam, right? It was in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Or in Berlin, one of the two. And in front of a glass of beer, so something that unfortunately we cannot do now for coronavirus, but we discussed, we like each other, and literally, I guess 1 month later, Rafen was building and installing the first gateways and providing coverage in Reykjavik. 1 month later. So that means that with LoRaWAN, time to market is key. You can, start deploying immediately. There is no frequency to pay for. It's unlicensed spectrum, so you can utilize immediately. If you have, of course, the capacity that Rafen has in Iceland to have infrastructure, you can do it immediately. And so that was for me one of the fastest route we had in order to build it up.
But I can't take all the credit. We have an amazing team over here, so that is one of the key. Right. And if I could maybe answer why we chose Sensoneo.
Yeah. Yes, please.
First of all, we met Martin at Smart City Expo. We almost had a man crush at the man, the CEO of Sensoneo. And they had a turnkey solution for everything, and we love that. There's both a hardware solution, a software solution, and very specific for this industry. And we can see on the devices they were really robust, and immediately, almost when we deployed the first LoRaWAN network. We contacted Sensoneo and Thomas and acquired sensors and started trying them out. And one of the first proof of concept project was actually with the smart bins, and it has worked perfectly.
I was gonna add that I think it was 2 months after we met in Barcelona, or Martin met you in Barcelona. So Tony, you beat me. And you beat us because it was 1 month since you met Rafen, and this was very slow for us. No, just kidding. It's a perfect combination even for us. I'll get back to LoRa, but even with Lysir, I don't want to tap our shoulders and brag but really it's heads down, because it was very fast. And it's also thanks to Everynet and the LoRaWAN that it was so fast. Really after we met 2 months and we had the pilot running in Iceland and in Reykjavik, and we knew even when we met, we knew that the guys from Lysir had no network, and we actually spoke about it, and we advised to go with Everynet because we knew how professional it was, and we knew it was gonna be fast, and you just once again proved us to be right. And it really helps us a lot, because in this kind of business, and I'm not sure if this is applicable to all the IoT or smart city business, but it can take a lot of time. Since it's so new, and all the pilot projects, even when you do it, or the new technology, when you show it to the municipalities, it's so new. They want to test it. They want to try it. It's not a small investment for them, so I get it. But it takes such a long time to happen and to scale it up. And honestly, it takes long, and we are fine with that. But when you have partners that are able to to implement it than to go for it within a month or within a few weeks. It shortens the time, which is priceless for us, honestly. So really, that's something we really appreciate, and it's maybe for anybody that's not involved, it's not so important, but for us, it really is important. I'll get back to LoRaWAN for just one quick insight. And I mentioned that we started back in 2014, and there was like no IoT networks, and we had to do it on GSM. And this is it's really a funny story because it brought us to a different. It broadened our spectrum and brought us to a different league, because the sensor had to be large. Like it had to be huge before, because if you want to, the first question that everybody asks is how is it powered and how long is it going to last? Because
yeah, actually, Tom, sorry, Tom, to interrupt. One of the questions is that I'm receiving here is, what were the main advantages of choosing LoRaWAN over GSM? So if you want to include the answers here, that's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Honestly, it was a game changer, because you need to have to power up the sensor on GSM. You need to have large batteries, because you want the sensor to be able to run for a certain period of time. And if anybody invests in it, they are looking for years of operation without having to change the batteries or without having to interrupt in any kind of way. And you are only able to do it on GSM, and even that for a shorter period of time if the sensor is large, because the batteries are large. And that's only one of the advantages, like I'm saying about the LoRaWAN, but this is easily imaginable, I would guess. So we were able to make the sensor like very small and very tight, and to fit into any kind of bin, thanks to LoRaWAN. And thanks to IoT networks such as they are, because we could just make the battery smaller, make the whole sensor smaller, and it would run for 6 years without any kind of need to interrupt and interact with the sensor in any kind of way. And not even mentioning the huge and the long range, which is like for sensors, it's something that you need to do. It's GSM it's just not for sensors. It's not at all.
Thank you very much, Tom. Actually, there's another question for you, so maybe you wanna take that, because then I have some other questions for Antonio and Rafael on the network side, but there is this other question that's on Sensoneo side, so maybe you wanna answer it.
Wait a sec, I lost the sound for some reason.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying that there is a question that is on the sensor side.
Yeah, I'm not
so maybe
getting the sound. Sorry about that.
Tony, are you hearing me?
Yes, very well. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm back, but it says that my internet connection is unstable. This happens when you work from home. I'm really sorry, guys.
No worries. This is coronavirus drawbacks.
Yeah, it's
among the others. Can you hear me properly now?
I hate it now, but I can hear you now. Yeah,
okay.
I think I'm back. So
I was just saying that since you were talking about the sensor, there's another question that popped up on the sensor side. So maybe you want to answer it before we move on the network side with another question that.
Do I found it in the Q&A?
Yeah, exactly. That's how durable. I can read it for everyone so that everyone is on the same page.
Yeah, please.
How durable are the sensors used for the garbage collection, and what kind of investment is needed in maintenance?
Very good question. Honestly, there's nothing that you need to invest in the maintenance. It's our sensors, and even okay. Let me start from the beginning. If you want to go for sensors, you could use different technologies. We use ultrasound because we've tested everything else that you could think of, and the ultrasound is the only thing that is really sustainable within the waste, because it's dirty. It's rough, the environment, nobody cares. It's not like a sweet spot, and it's not clean and anything. So the ultrasound doesn't care. The ultrasound doesn't care about the dust. It doesn't care about if the lens gets dirty or anything. Which if you use any kind of visual optic technology like lasers, you need to clean it up regularly, or video or anything. So we have IP69, actually IP69K protection, which in the bins, again, is something you need to have, because if you wash the bins, you use the high pressure and the high water pressure machines to clean up the insides of the bins. So you want the sensors to be able to withstand that kind of cleaning up. So like mentioned, it's our sensors are IP69K. protection, they can last for up to 6 years. This is based on the number of measurements that you need to do and the climate conditions. Like every battery gets drained when it's like extremely cold. But 5 years, I could put my hand in the fire for that. So it's you don't have to do any kind of maintenance with it. It's the sensor is there, and there's nothing you actually need to do with it unless somebody tries to. We honestly had a guy in the US because there was like a fight between competitors of the waste haulers, and the one guy tried to remove it with a shovel, honestly, or with an axe, I think, and he actually like broke the sensor and got rid of it. But that's something that we are not able to deal with. The sensors doesn't cure any kind of brain, so we're not there yet.
Thank you very much, Tom. So I will have another couple of questions for Antonio and Rafen. And they're about network, so the LoRaWAN network from Evernet. So one of them is, did you experience any network downtime during the eruption or the earthquakes? And
not so ever.
and the other question is, how do you manage the network to, sorry, there was a need. How do you manage the network to reduce incidents in those cases? Or I presume that this is linked to the previous question, it's from the same person. And I think that it belongs to the fact that how do you manage to reduce incidents in case there are incidents related to earthquakes and volcanoes eruptions, but we can also say, how do you manage to reduce incidents in general on the network? If you want to also answer that.
Well, yeah, we had no incidents in regards of the eruption or earthquake. So we see the LoRaWAN network is earthquake proof, at least
and
for
volcano
now.
Proof.
And volcano proof. Well, we monitor the network quite well. We are alarmed immediately when one gateway is offline and respond. Because we have a quite good coverage in the capital region, so we can respond within 24 hours, even sometimes within hours, to check, to take precautions or the measures that are needed. But they have been quite minimal.
Yeah, I mean, and from our side, of course, we provide a 24/7 network operation center. We get information from the gateways deployed every 2 minutes. So every 2 minutes, we understand how is healthy our network, and if there is any incident. And to be honest with you, the incident normally are referring to power loss, so power outage, or to backhaul connectivity that is missing. So means the SIM card is not, normally is through the SIM card or through the fiber optics. So these are two main incidents we have. We can monitor and we can give feedback to our partners basically in real time. We have also implemented some features in order to solve the problem from the very beginning. One of the gateway that we have deployed and we have built has also a backup battery that can last for an additional 5 hours, even without power, so with power outage. So we are reduced to the minimum, the possibility of incident into our network. But of course, things happen. And when things happen, we have to move very quick and restore, as Rafen said, within the 24 hours.
We had a university students putting up a demo type of a self-sustainable gateway connected with large batteries and a solar cell. So we can deploy that gateway. If we get a downtime, we can deploy it within hours and cover the area if needed.
Thank you very much, everyone. So I am kind of cautious of time. We are in a position where we are in between, the lunch of someone or the end of the day work for somebody else, or maybe breakfast for somebody else, or dinner or whatever. So I think that I will just thank you all for being here. Thank all the attendees and thank all the panelists. And so thank you, Rafen, thank you, Tom, and thank you, Antonio. It was very valuable. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge and sharing your presentations. Just for everyone to know, you will find a recording of this webinar, I presume within tonight and tomorrow on Evernet YouTube channel, which is Evernet IoT on YouTube. And we will also share it on our social media So in case you will need to relook at something or you have further questions, you can reach out either through our social channels, our website, or the contacts of the people who were speaking today. I really hope that it was of interest for everyone inside this call, and we really hope to see you soon. We look forward to the next webinar, and have a great day, evening, afternoon, or whatever, everyone. Thank you so much for attending one more time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.